I think we're live. I know I say that every single time, but I always want to make sure that we are live. Hey, everybody. It's Jared Wade. I am your communications director for the town of Avon. And sitting across the table from me is our planning director, Bill Peoples. Last night, they had a plan commission meeting, and we thought we'd take some time, about 5 minutes, talk about what happened, why it happened, and how it's going to affect the community, if it's going to affect the community. First, before we get into those questions, 3 new commission members were sworn in, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, there was 3 new commission members, and then of course the president of the plan commission decided to resign, so we've got a vacancy already. But for the first time in a few months, we'd had a full-up plan commission, and now we're back to 6 out of 7. But that's okay. We'll fill that 7th fairly soon.
Good. Sounds good. I'm glad to hear that. All right. First question: what happened at the plan commission last night?
Well, we had 3 petitions that were heard. One of them was the Unified Development Ordinance, which is a replacement zoning and subdivision control ordinance for the town. It carries over a lot of the standards that we have in the current zoning and subdivision control ordinance. It eliminates a lot of the superfluous stuff we don't need, like the subdivision control ordinance has a lot of different subdivision types that we haven't really needed to administer. And the zoning ordinance does not have a lot of the architectural standards that we'd like for builders to meet. And so that was... So the Plan Commission is an advisory body in that case, so it's forwarding a recommendation to the town council, and that was a favorable recommendation, vote of 7-0 to repeal the current zoning and subdivision control ordinance, and then adopt the new Unified Development Ordinance as a replacement for those 2 ordinances.
Okay.
So we're all looking forward to that one.
Cool.
The second item on the agenda was the initial master plan review and approval for the Easton Gray Planned Unit Development. This is about a 480-acre development, mixed-use development on Avon's west side. And that was, again, it's a PUD, so it's sort of in the rezoning, initial review of a planned unit development, so it's in the rezoning stage. It was also forwarded to the town council with a 7-0 recommendation, a favorable recommendation. And then finally on the agenda was the Brookstone planned unit development. Now this is a secondary review of a planned unit development, which is, for all intents and purposes, a subdivision request, a primary subdivision request. And so it just basically solidifies the development at that point. So it basically sets the cap on the number of units that someone could build on there. In this particular case, as a planned unit development, that cap was set at the rezoning phase at 152, and that's what they came in. It's a development. It'll run into about somewhere between 1.8 and 1.9 units an acre, which is consistent with the single-family residential developments that surround it.
Awesome. All right. Well, it sounds like you took care of the what, you took care of the why, as you were explaining everything. These PUDs, these requests, how are they going to impact the community, if at all?
Well, obviously, the Unified Development Ordinance is a replacement ordinance, so it's going to be the new ordinance that we administer for development in the town. And as I said, the probably 75% of it is a carryover from the current ordinance. We've eliminated a lot of the issues, a lot of the portions that we really didn't need. And the big thing about the Unified Development Ordinance is residential development. It caps densities in the different distinct single family residential and multifamily residential zoning classifications, but it also incentivizes enhanced architectural features. So we would anticipate that by incentivizing it, it allows density bonuses. So if you increase the quality of your structures, your buildings that you're building within a development, then you are allowed to have an increased density. So we could hopefully see slightly more dense subdivisions, but with a much higher quality of the individual single family and multifamily residential structures within them.
Fantastic.
The Eastern Gray Planned Unit Development probably will have a fairly significant impact on the west side of the town. Like I said, it's about a 487 acre property. Consists of a mixed use town center core surrounded by traditional single family to the north of it. It extends basically from 36 all the way to 100 north, 500 to about 600 east in that general area. And so it'll transform the west side. And we're really looking forward to having the mixed use core in the town because we haven't had one. I mean, most cities and towns in Indiana have a historic mixed use core somewhere within them where the town or the city was initially settled. But Avon, being a town that was basically created out of whole cloth in the mid 90s, does not have that. And it's one of the missing elements from the town. Basically, that area of the town that becomes the focal point of the town.
It becomes our downtown.
Right, our downtown.
Yeah.
And that's, we're looking forward to creating that downtown for Greenwood. Now, I'm sorry, for Avon. And it is going to be on the far west side. So, I mean, it's not going to be in the center of the town. It'll be on the far west side.
Cool.
And then the Brookstone Planned Unit Development really is just your standard single-family residential development. It's, I think the citizens of the town are used to having single-family residential developments in the town. And so I can't imagine that it'll have any drastic impact on the town.
Awesome. All right, Bill, thanks, man.
Well, my pleasure. Anytime.
Appreciate it. I know we took a little bit more than 5 minutes of your day, but hopefully these little nuggets of information are helpful. These another planning commission or planning commission meeting can take sometimes a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours. So being able to just bring it down into about a 5-minute period where we can explain, hey, this is what happened, this is why it happened, and this is how it might affect you out in the community. Let us know what you think. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully this is some good information. If you have questions about anything that Bill talked about, you're welcome to reach out to Bill at any point in time. You can call him here at Town Hall or email him, and he'll be happy to answer those questions for you. On behalf of everybody here at the town, thank you so much. My phone is ringing, which means that we need to wrap it up. All right, bye, everybody.